I kept you close enough to feel your energy, but far enough to never let you touch my truth. You called it mixed signals. I called it survival. The way you looked at me fed something I couldn't name. But the way you reached for me threatened everything I was protecting. I'm going to show you the 6 patterns I used to feed off your attention while protecting myself from your desire. But here's what you need to understand. I wasn't doing just one of these things. I was doing all of them. Every time you looked at me like I was everything you wanted. By the end of this, you'll understand why some women crave your attention, but fear your touch. Pattern number 1. I needed your attention to feel real, but your touch made me feel trapped. When you looked at me, I felt like I existed, like I mattered, like I was worth seeing. But when you reached for me, I felt like I was disappearing into someone else's fantasy. Your attention was about me. Your touch was about you. Week 3. You watched me tell a story at dinner about my childhood dog, who died when I was 12. Your eyes never leave my face for 6 minutes and 43 seconds. I feel electric, alive, completely present in my own skin. Month 2. You try to hold my hand during a movie scene where the couple first touches. I pull away and pretend I need to get popcorn. But really, I spend 11 minutes in the lobby reading the movie poster descriptions 17 times, trying to understand why your touch feels suffocating when your attention feels like oxygen. Month 5. I time my most animated conversations about my philosophy thesis for when you're watching me. Not because I want to impress you, but because I need your focus to feel like myself. My heart pounds for 22 minutes after you compliment how passionate I get about Nietzsche and existentialism. Psychology calls this attention-seeking behavior, but here's what's really happening. I'm using your focus as a mirror to see myself clearly. This is what psychology calls anxious attachment with avoidance patterns, needing emotional validation while rejecting physical intimacy to maintain autonomy. Your attention reflects back the parts of me I love. Your touch threatens to change me into someone I don't recognize. When you look at me, I feel powerful. When you touch me, I feel possessed. My chest tightens for 37 minutes every time I think about how I need your eyes but fear your hands. But here's where it gets more complicated. Pattern number 2. I craved the way you saw me, but I feared how you wanted me. In your eyes, I was intelligent, fascinating, mysterious. Everything I wanted to be. In your touch, I felt reduced to something I could never give you. I needed you to want my mind, not my body. My thoughts, not my skin. Month 7. You tell me I have the most beautiful mind you've ever encountered after I explain my theory about why Van Gogh painted sunflowers. I replay this for weeks. I screenshot the text and read it exactly 17 times when I feel invisible, counting each word like prayer beads. Month 9. You brush a strand of hair from my face during dinner at that Italian place with the red checkered tablecloths. The gesture feels intimate in a way that makes my stomach churn for 46 minutes. I excuse myself to the bathroom for 14 minutes and stare at my reflection, counting my heartbeats until they slow down. Month 12. I catch myself dressing to capture your attention, but never your desire. I wear that navy blue dress you said brings out my eyes, but I sit across from you at the table, never next to you. I want you to notice me, but I don't want you to want me. Not in the way you think you do. This is what psychology calls cognitive emotional splitting, needing validation while rejecting intimacy. But here's the deeper truth. I'm protecting something you can never touch, something that doesn't fit the world you think I live in. Your attention feeds my soul. Your desire feels like it would consume the parts of me that love differently. I need you to see me without needing to have me. But the real reason I kept you at arm's length was something deeper. Pattern number 3. I used your attention as validation while keeping my body as my sanctuary. You made me feel valuable with your focus, but I needed to feel safe in my own skin. Physical intimacy felt like invasion. Emotional attention felt like salvation. I was protecting the one space that belonged completely to me. Year 1, Month 3. I position myself across from you at restaurants, so you have to look directly at me to talk to me. maintaining exactly 4 feet and 7 inches of space between us. I need your eyes, but I don't want you close enough to reach for me without crossing an obvious boundary. Year 1, month 6. You compliment my laugh after I tell you about the time I accidentally walked into a glass door at the library. You ask if you can kiss me. I say not yet and watch your face fall for exactly 3 seconds before you smile and say okay. I feel guilty for 18 hours, but also relieved that my boundaries held without explanation. Year 1, month 9. I have a panic attack in my car for 12 minutes after you hug me goodbye following our coffee date. Not because you did anything wrong, but because physical contact feels like losing myself. I count my breaths. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, 17 times until I can function again. This is what psychology calls touch aversion with identity protection, maintaining distance to preserve a hidden self. But here's what you need to understand. I'm not doing just one of these things to you. I'm doing every single one of them. Every time you look at me like, I'm everything you wanted but couldn't have. My body is the last frontier of my authentic self, and I can't risk letting you cross that boundary. My hands shake for 41 minutes every time I think about how I'm asking you to love me in a way that goes against everything you expect from love. But then my contradictions become impossible to hide. Pattern number 4. I needed your emotional intimacy while rejecting your physical intimacy. I wanted to share my thoughts, my dreams, my fears, everything except my body. You gave me intellectual connection, and I gave you emotional walls. Because emotional intimacy felt safe, physical intimacy felt wrong. Year 1, month 12. We talk for exactly 4 hours and 17 minutes about everything meaningful in our lives. My fear of disappointing my parents, your dream of writing a novel, the way we both see colors differently. I feel closer to you than I've ever felt to anyone. But when you lean in to kiss me at my apartment door, I turn away instinctively and unlock my door in 3 seconds flat.
Year 2, month 3. I share my deepest fear with you, that I'll never be brave enough to live authentically. You hold space for my vulnerability perfectly, asking exactly the right questions. But when you try to hold me afterward, my entire body tenses for 28 minutes. I want your emotional support, not your physical comfort. Year 2, month 6. I create a relationship where I get everything I need emotionally, while giving you nothing you need physically. I throw up for 26 minutes in my bathroom, counting the tiles on the floor, 43 blue ones, 27 white ones, until I can stand up again. My throat burns for 3 hours afterward. This is what psychology calls selective intimacy with trauma bonding, opening one type of connection while closing another to avoid triggering deep-seated fears about authentic self-expression. I'm not confused about what I want. I want a love that exists in minds and hearts, not bodies and expectations.
I want someone who can touch my soul without needing to touch my skin. Someone who can love me completely without needing to possess me physically. But that kind of love doesn't fit the world you think I live in. My throat feels tight for 1 hour and 43 minutes every time I think about how I'm asking you to love me in a way that goes against everything you expect. If you're watching this because someone keeps you emotionally close but physically distant, hit that subscribe button. Because what I reveal next shows the devastating truth behind this behavior. Write me in the comments if you've ever felt like someone needed your energy but feared your touch. Watch my video. She says just friends, but still needs your energy. To understand why women crave emotional connection while avoiding physical intimacy. Because what I'm about to reveal shows the deepest layer of this contradiction. But here's the truth that kept me awake at night. Pattern number 5. I was protecting a truth about myself that your touch would expose. Physical intimacy wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous to the secret I was keeping. Your hands would reveal what your eyes couldn't see, what your attention couldn't uncover. I needed you to love the me you could see, not discover the me I was hiding. Year 2, month 9. Physical intimacy requires a vulnerability I'm not ready for. Not because I don't trust you, but because I don't trust myself to stay hidden. I spend 34 minutes that night writing in my journal. What if he touches me and realizes I'm not who he thinks I am? Year 2, month 12.
You ask if there's someone else, and I say no while stirring my coffee counterclockwise exactly 12 times. It's not technically a lie, but it's not the whole truth either. There isn't someone else. There's someone else I'm becoming. Someone who needs love that looks different from what you're offering. Year 3, month 3. I use our emotional connection to avoid the physical connection that would force me to confront who I really am. My hands shake for 2 hours and 14 minutes after this realization, and I have to hold them under cold water for 6 minutes to make them stop. I can't eat for the rest of the day. Psychology calls this identity protection with dissociative attachment, maintaining distance to preserve a hidden self while still receiving emotional validation. I'm not rejecting your touch because I don't want intimacy. I'm rejecting it because I want intimacy that looks different from what you can offer. Your attention helps me feel like myself. Your touch threatens to expose that the self you're seeing isn't complete. I'm protecting not just my body, but my truth. The truth that I need love that exists beyond the world you think I live in. Because some truths can only stay hidden if you keep certain boundaries intact. I can't sleep for 7 nights in a row, knowing I'm asking you to love me without ever letting you truly know me. My entire body trembles for 2 hours and 19 minutes as I understand the cruelty of what I'm doing to someone who only wants to love me completely. And here's the final pattern I used your attention. Pattern number 6. I turned your attention into my drug while keeping your desire as my poison. Every look, every compliment, every moment of focus became my addiction. But every attempt at physical closeness felt like it would kill the high. I needed you to want me mentally while never wanting me physically. Year 3, month 6. I catch myself performing for your attention in ways that have nothing to do with attraction. I dress beautifully in that green sweater you complimented once. Speak eloquently using words I practiced in the mirror for 11 minutes. Laugh perfectly at exactly the right moments. Not to seduce you, but to keep your eyes on me. Year 3, month 9. I realize I've trained you to give me the kind of attention I crave while systematically rejecting the kind of intimacy you want. I feel like I'm selling myself something I can handle while cutting off your supply of what you actually need. I write "I am a monster" in my journal 14 times before crossing it out. Year 3, month 12. I understand that I've created an impossible situation. I need your attention to feel alive, but I can't give you the closeness that would make you feel loved. My stomach churns for 38 minutes as I realize how unsustainable this is, and I count every sound in my apartment. The refrigerator humming, the neighbor's dog barking twice, the clock ticking 63 times, until I can breathe normally. But here's what you need to understand. I wasn't just doing these things occasionally. I was doing all of them, every single day, every time you looked at me with hope in your eyes. Psychology calls this emotional vampirism, with physical barriers combined with fearful avoidant attachment, taking what you need while protecting what you can't give due to deep-seated fears about authentic intimacy. I wasn't just afraid of your touch. I was addicted to your attention in a way that required me to keep you always reaching but never arriving. Your desire for physical intimacy threatened the emotional intimacy I was dependent on, because once you touched me, you might stop looking at me the way I needed to be seen. You might discover that the person you thought you loved doesn't exist in the world you expect her to. I was keeping you hungry for the one thing I couldn't feed you, so you'd keep giving me the one thing I couldn't live without. My attention addiction required your touch starvation. I spend 4 weeks unable to function normally, understanding that I've turned someone who loves me into my personal validation dispenser while giving them nothing real in return. My stomach churns for 52 minutes every morning when I wake up and remember what I've become. Someone who feeds off love while being incapable of returning it. And here's what I wish I could have told you. Now you understand what I'm really protecting. It isn't my body I'm keeping from you, it's my truth. I crave your attention because it makes me feel seen as myself. I avoid your touch because it would require me to be someone I'm not. Some women need your focus without your physical desire because we're protecting an identity that doesn't match what you expect. We're not confused about what we want. We want love that exists in minds and hearts, not bodies and expectations. Here's what I wish I could say. I need you to see me and value me without needing to possess me. I need love that doesn't require me to be anything other than exactly who I am. But who I am doesn't fit the world you think I live in. Do I regret craving your attention while rejecting your touch? every single day. Do I understand why I do it? I'm still learning. Do you deserve the whole truth? That's a question I'm still afraid to answer. If someone is currently craving your attention while avoiding your touch, maybe they're not playing games with your heart. Maybe they're protecting their soul. And maybe the question isn't whether you should wait for them to want you physically. Maybe the question is whether you can love someone completely without needing to possess them completely. But how do you know when someone needs your attention versus when they need your touch? How do you know when someone is protecting themselves versus when they're protecting you from their truth? These are mysteries I'm still trying to decode. And maybe some mysteries are meant to stay unsolved. If you want to understand more about why women compartmentalize different types of intimacy, watch my video, The Exact Reason She Put You in the Friend Zone. That video will show you the difference between someone who's protecting their heart and someone who's protecting their truth.